Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam The Sands of Time. It's action and adventure in ancient Egypt in this terrific teen time travel romance. Get your copy of E-Steam The Sands of Time at your favorite online bookseller today. One of my viewers sent me a link to a CNN article talking about how a Texas barber was shot by a father who was upset that his 13-year-old son received a bad haircut. And when I take a critical examination of this incident, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile I talked about in my book, The Man Crisis. And this man who decided to shoot this barber in Texas is a textbook beta male, and his behavior fits right in line with the pattern and profile of other dysfunctional beta males and the spectrum of violent behaviors they participate in. Now, this beta male clearly just did not know how to control his emotions regarding a situation where he got what he believed to be bad service, so he wound up escalating an incident into something that became worse than it actually could have been, because the barber tried to resolve the problem by fixing the alleged bad haircut for free, and any rational critical thinking man would have put a period at the end of it right there and moved on. Unfortunately, because this man could not control his emotions, he decided to act impulsively, pulled out a weapon, and then decided to shoot this barber, all because he did not make a correct haircut for his 13-year-old son at the time he wanted him to have that haircut. And again, when you see a male acting like this, it's a clear sign that he just does not have proper male life skills or proper survival skills, because he probably was not raised with a father in the home to teach him how to navigate situations like this and be able to problem solve. Because again, the problem was solved when the barber decided to fix the alleged bad haircut for free. And once the barber fixed the haircut for free, any rational critical thinking man would have put a period at the end of things, and he would have moved on because the problem would have been solved. Unfortunately, when you have a beta male, he does not know how to problem solve, and he decides to escalate things because he is so caught up in his feelings that all he wants to do is sate those feelings he has by hurting another individual he believes he was slighted by. So this individual, because he felt like he was slighted by the bad haircut, wanted to hurt this barber, so he took out his weapon to shoot him. And again, he made things worse because by escalating the situation, now his son will not have his father in his life and when the police catch him, because now this father put his own life at risk by shooting that barber, and now he is going to be on the run until they capture him. And then after they capture him, he will be doing some time in prison for either attempted murder or aggravated assault. And all of this, again, could have been prevented had this man navigated through his emotions. And yes, he could have been angry and upset about the bad haircut. However, he should have been able to work through those emotions to work towards a constructive solution where his son would have gotten that proper haircut, and he would have been able to walk out of that barber shop with his freedom. Unfortunately, this man put his own freedom at risk because he decided to act on impulse as related to his emotions, and he decided to shoot this barber. And what he did was further traumatize his son, not only by his emotional display, but he also damaged his son by modeling dysfunctional behavior in front of him, showing him that the way you solve problems is to act on impulse, and to go out here and attack anybody with a spectrum of violent behaviors instead of saying, okay, I got a good haircut now, let me leave the barbershop and let me move on. Now, I have received bad haircuts in the past, and what I had to do when I received a bad haircut in many cases was just chalk it up, pay the barber off, and then if I felt like the barbershop was continuing to do damage to my hair and make a mess of my hair, find another barber. That's what any critical thinking man does, because that's what you just learn how to do. Now, my father taught me how to deal with situations like this ever since I was going to the barbershop since I was 5 years old. And again, this is something that you just learn as you grow up. You learn how to deal with conflict, you learn how to deal with problems, and you learn how to keep your emotions in check. Sadly, this beta male didn't learn how to keep his emotions in check, and sadly, he modeled dysfunctional behavior in front of his 13-year-old son as related to conflict resolution, problem solving, and critical thinking, because again, if your son gets a bad haircut, the thing to do is to just go to the barber, tell him that the haircut is wrong, and in many cases the barber, because he's thinking about his own reputation, he'll fix that haircut like the barber did in this case for free, and he will just charge it to the game and move on. There is no need to attack an individual over a haircut, again, because I've had many bad haircuts where my flat top was cut too short, or it was cut uneven, or the fade was not cut the right way. But oftentimes, again, if it was that way and it was a rookie barber, I would understand. But if it was just a barber and he had a bad day, sometimes I would understand. But sometimes you just chalk it up as a loss and you move on. Or if they keep consistently messing up with your hair, you just find another barber. That's just what every rational thinking man does. Unfortunately, when you have a beta male, he does not know how to think rationally. He does not know how to think critically. He does not know how to problem solve, and he does not know when to put a period on things and move on. Instead, he escalates things and participates in dysfunctional behavior that winds up putting his safety, his freedom, and his health at risk, and putting the safety and freedom of his family at risk. And that's what makes these beta males a ticking time bomb and a danger to be around, because these males, when they are out here, they oftentimes participate, again, in a spectrum of violent behaviors. When things don't go their way, they escalate situations to become worse than what they actually are, and they make problems where there are no problems, and they make people's lives harder than they actually are. So every time there is a beta male in a situation like this, oftentimes they're not thinking rationally or critically, and again, this is what they do when things don't go right for them, because they have not gained the male life skills to know how to navigate through their emotions. And while you, again, have these feelings, you don't act on them. And when you have those feelings, you just learn how to deal with them, and you learn how to let the conflict get resolved and then be able to move on with your life so that you can wind up being able to do what you need to do and taking care of your family. This father, again, is a textbook example of a beta male father, because any, again, rational thinking father is just going to say, okay, I got my son's hair fixed, we're going to move on, and I'm going to be able to go out and do the next thing that I want to do, instead of, like this guy, worrying about whether the cops are going to find him and eventually put him in prison, taking a father away from his son. If you'd like to learn more about the dysfunctional behavior of beta males like the one in this incident, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle formats. You can also find it on Smashwords, Barnes & Noble's Nook, and Google Play, and the iBookstore. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, you may donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.